Namaste, hello, and welcome back to another video on Hamsavahini Vajraasthra. I'm Awhona, and this video is going to be about my second summer reading project, which is a Gothic Summer Escapade. Now, this is going to be a 150 days project starting from the 15th of April till the 11th of September. So if you would like to join in, you definitely can, and do let me know about that in the comment section below. I have tried to broadly categorize the books that I will be reading into 9 loosely formed genres, or let's say subgenres, which you definitely can cross-check as you progress further in the video. So do please join me further. Now, before I begin, I would like to mention that I have all the information written in front of me over here, so I'll be referring to that over here. Now, the Summer Gothic Escapade encompasses all the books which are Gothic in nature and which have horror and haunting specifically. So the first category is haunted houses, haunted mansions, haunted castles, and haunted manors, in which there is a genuine haunting which is taking place. It could be an anthology of ghost stories in which there are hauntings. So a ghost or presence of a spirit is definitely required, and this does not really include those which have secret and mysteries, because that falls in another category. But then yes, eerie occurrences which do involve hauntings within the story plot is something which will be encouraged in this particular category. So I do have lots of books which I've collected and which are collecting dust on my bookshelves, which are all about haunted houses, so and haunted mansions. So I'll be trying to squeeze all of them in this particular category. The second category is the Gothic medical and paranormal mysteries. So these mostly focus on those mysteries and murder or crime thrillers which could have a Victorian blend, or which could be Victorian inspired, or which could be or which could have some reference to the resurrectionists or the gruesome, brutal Gothic medicine state at that point of time. So that is something which I did find very interesting, and I do have a couple of books and some series which I will be squeezing into this particular category. The next category is Gothic undercover detectives, investigators, and spies. So this category also encompasses Victorian based detectives, or those detectives who are of course set in the modern world, but which does have a Gothic twist to it, and they could be undercover agents, or undercover private investigators, or undercover detectives. So I do have a very fun series which I have just stumbled across, so I'm looking forward to reading that particular series for this category. And the next category is haunted hospitals and haunted asylums. So of course we have the entire series of Asylum, as well as there are lots of books on haunted hospitals which I am quite keen on exploring. So the month of May is actually the birthday of Florence Nightingale, who was one of the pioneers of the nursing field. So of course I will be reading about haunted hospitals and haunted asylums, etc., within that particular month. So yes, it may not be too much, but I'm quite looking forward to it. And the next category is Gothic sibling themed novels. So these are novels which explore the relationship and the after effects of events which could be Gothic in nature, between siblings, and how their relationships changed. So there are a couple of new books which have been released which do fulfill this particular category. So it's a loosely based category, but yes, mostly it could have most of the Gothic classics in them as well, or those which are retellings of classics like the Bronte sisters, or anything which is inspired by the Bronte sisters, etc. That's just an example. The next category is the pure Gothic category, which of course deals with a Gothic book or a Gothic novel which has queer characters in them. And the next is Gothic horror, which does not need any explanation. The next category that I have tried to summarize is Gothic retellings of classics. So for example, Jane Austen classics in Gothic retelling, or say Jane Eyre in a Gothic retelling series. So there are lots of books which I have collected which are retellings of these classics, especially the Bronte sisters, as well as Jane Austen, as well as Dracula. So which is of course the famous Dracula classic, and by Sheridan Le Fanu. And there are a couple of them which are also retellings of Camilla, which is also by Sheridan Le Fanu, which I'm quite interested in exploring. So that is a lot of books which will be explored in this particular category. And the last is Gothic fantasy, which has everything to deal with Gothic romance and Gothic shapeshifters and Gothic say vampires and otherworldly creatures and werewolves, etc. So I do have series, a couple of series which I am interested in completing. So some few of them are not really Gothic, so I won't be including them, but those which are really dark and twisty and creepy, so I'll try and include them. Now I will share the books that, or the initial books that I plan on reading. Now I do have a massive pile of books over here. It reaches till here, and they're so heavy that I probably will not be able to lift them up, but I won't be talking about these books, but I'll definitely be sharing the name as well as the author with you, and probably a line or two about these books. So the first book is This House is Haunted by John Boyne, sorry. And John Boyne is an Irish author whom I stumbled across while participating in the Irish Readathon, and I absolutely love the writing style of John Boyne. And this is not one of the first book that I'm reading. This is probably the second book that I'm reading. I'm also queuing up another book of John Boyne, by John Boyne, to be read in the month of May. And this story is all about a governess who has lost her father recently, and she goes to work as a governess in Norfolk, in an ancient mansion, or a dilapidated mansion, where she can't find the parents, and there is an eerie presence who tries to attack her, and another presence who tries to protect her as well. So she's pretty confused as to which forces are working with her and why is she being attacked, whereas all she wants to do is care for the children and make sure that they are safe and sound, which is what her job is. So this is what this book encompasses. I've already finished this book because I did read this for Irish Readathon, but I will be posting my book review, and of course I will also try to count this in this particular project. Most probably I'll be rereading it in the month of June. So that's the first book. The second book is a book which was recommended by Katie from Books and Things, and this was The Haunting Season, and it's an amazing book. I did complete this book in January, and it is a collection or an anthology of short stories in which the most of the stories have houses which are haunted, and what every haunting or the impression which every haunting leaves on the person who is haunted by them. So it's very interesting. I absolutely loved it, and I will be coming out with a book review of this in the month of May. So yes, I will be including this as well. I probably will be rereading this in the month of July. And the third book is The House of Bells by J.T. Croft. Now this has been collecting dust on my bookshelf for quite some time. I was planning to read this last year for October, but unfortunately I could not get to it at all. And this is also about a governess who goes to a manor house, and there she starts understanding that there are certain bells which keep on ringing, and there is a child whom she is, of course, she's a governess to a child, and the child also has some problems, and she tries to find out the secret and the mysteries why this child has this problem, and that leads her to the subsequent solving of this problem, although she's a governess, and she discovers many secrets which are present and hidden within that particular manor house. So that's the next book. The next book which I do have on my reading list is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, and believe me, I have not read this book, and although I do have the series in my watch to list on Netflix, I've still not watched it. So I have planned to pick this book up first in the month of April, which is within the next week, and start it and then watch the series as well. So there's not much that needs to be said. There's a lot given about this book, and of course I'll be sharing my book review about this very soon. The next book is We Played With Fire by Catherine Barter, and this is about two sisters who moved to a new house, and in order to spook up the house, they start playing up with the very old things which were kept inside the house, so that they can make some trouble for their parents, because they do not really like the new house that they're shifted in. But then the house starts waking up on its own, and it starts having a mind of its own, which frightens the girls, and then it is finally discovered that the house, they have actually dealt with something or woken up the house by playing with those old things which were remnants of the past, or of the secret past of this particular house. So that's one of the books which I could not get to during last year's Gottober, but yes, that's one of the other books. The next book which I have is House of Furies by Madeleine Roques, and I'm also going to be reading the prequel to it, the sequel to it, which is The Court of Shadows, and it's about this house which is supposed to be a sort of a hotel, and or a primitive hotel. However, the manager, or the person who is the landlord, I wouldn't say the landlord, but the in-lord of this particular house manor or manor house, is doing a lot more than he's supposed to do for the guests, and there are lots of secrets and hidden mysteries which our protagonist, who is employed as a maid over there and as a caretaker, starts discovering, and it frightens her to her wits. So I think there are two more sequels to this, and I'll be including them. I have currently I just have this particular book, so after I complete this, yes, the two sequels will be on their way, and yes, that's another series that I'm looking forward to. One of the books that has been on my shelf for the past 3 years is A House of Whispers by Laura Purcell, and I discovered this book on Katie's channel again from Books and Things, and this is about the hauntings of the fairies within a particular island, and a doctor who's trying to investigate a particular disease, and is trying to find a solution to it by trying to experiment on certain individuals, and these individuals are then captured. It is a legend that, and a rumor that most of the sick individuals are captured by fairies of the land and then disappear. Now this happens when the main protagonist of our story or the main character of the story is a girl, or is a young girl. Years later, when there is a nurse who comes to try and heal the young girl who is now an old woman and she's crippled. A lot of secrets are discovered, and this is what the story goes about. And there's all about whispering and things which are being whispered around. So that's probably the gist of this particular book. I've not gone through it, but yes, I'll be picking this up very soon. And the next is Greythorn, which has been written by L.M. Meriden. I'm sorry, I just hope you'll be able to see this because my ring light is shining on it. So this is again about a governess who is appointed as soon as the mother of a child passes on to the spirit realm, and her father, I mean his father, is a medical man who's obsessed with trying to get back his wife, and he is a resurrectionist, and he tries to dig up the grave of his wife and tries to experiment on it. And the governess has to come to terms with the eerie things which are happening around her, as well as she has to deal with the father who is psychologically disbalanced, as well as the child himself who's not able to speak. So this is one of the other stories which I did find very interesting, and yes, it's a governor story again. And the next book which I did find on Katie's channel again, which is The House of Strand by Daphne du Maurier, and this is about this man who cannot deal with his present circumstances, and along with his friend he takes a pill which transports him to a different timeline, which is a previous timeline. And then it is almost I would like to say it's almost like an Avatar movie scenario, wherein there is a alternate reality in which this character goes to, and then he tries to make that reality, that alternate world, his reality, and he gets confused. And that is what this particular book is, or the main plot of this book is all about. The next book is The Haunting of Las Lagrimas by W.M. Cheese. I have no idea about this book. I don't know anything, and I'm not going to read from the back of the book, but yes, this is again about another haunting and more secrets and mysteries. Now the next book is The Whistling by Rebecca Detley, and this is about our main protagonist, who goes to a secluded Scottish island where she is appointed as a nanny to a small girl child who does not speak. And she somehow finds that there are lullabies which are whispered across the corridors and from specific sections, and there is a presence which she feels, and it is the twin called William to this particular child, who the girl child is called Mary. And she tries to discover what exactly and how exactly William lost his life, as well as what William is trying to communicate, whether he's trying to come back, or why is he haunting this place, and what why exactly is Mary not speaking at all. So that is what this book is all about. The next book which I do have is called The House Without a Summer, which is Gothic horror by Deanna Nippling, and I absolutely love the artwork. It's steampunk artwork, and this is about this is set during the Napoleonic Wars, where there is a boy who is enrolled as enrolled in the army, and when he comes back, he finds that everything in his countryside is covered with a green fungus, and his father is almost going mad, and most of the people in that particular place have lost their lives, and there is a slow death which is happening, but what exactly is causing the death is something which needs to be investigated, and that's what the main plot of this book is. There are lots of other subplots and lots of other details which of course I'm not going to go into because I don't know everything, but then yes, that is one book that I'm really looking forward to. Another book which I'm really looking forward to is Laura Purcell's The Whispering Muse, and I absolutely love the cover. It's a beautiful cover design, and this is about an actress, Lilith, and Jenny, who is supposed to be her supporting or she's supposed to support this particular actress, and there's a theater in which Lilith is actually the main actress, and she starts and she is she always has a captivating performance, and she in her real life too, she starts living the characters which she portrays, and there's a lot of enigma which surrounds this actress, and Jenny soon tries to discover what exactly was the past, and what had happened, because of which she was employed to support this particular actress and help her out during her backstage things, when she used to get ready, etc. So this is what this particular book is all about. So those are the few books that I will be reading. There are more books which I do have, but these are just the few books that I will be starting off the month of May with for this particular project. So if you did find any of them very interesting, or if you would like to buddy read any of them with me, or if you have read about them before, do please leave a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. So with that, I'll be wrapping up this video. I'll see you soon next week with another video. So till then, take care, have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.